Hello, 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 and welcome. If you are watching live or listening live, because this will be just a mostly audio, I will show you one or two things at the end from a visual standpoint. But wherever you are listening in from, please let me know in the chat, and then let me know what your book is about. So, we are going to do a quick little let me not say little, a quick training on 5 easy ways to increase book sales. And so with that, it's so important to really focus on, of course, increasing your book sales, but also to think about ways that you can do this without stressing yourself out. I am in a lot of author groups and then also just have a pulse in the self-published author world since I'm an author myself. And it's something where it can be so easy to become overwhelmed or intimidated by all the different things that are happening in the world in general, but also in the ways in which you are navigating. And so it's something where you have to be mindful of protecting your peace, but also, sorry about that. I was trying to share over on Facebook to share into the group. Be mindful of protecting your peace, but then also increasing your book sales in a way that is sustainable for you, because it's so easy to get caught up in, oh, I have to be here, I have to be there, I have to make sure that I'm doing XYZ. And so really focusing on efforts that are going to pour back into you and also make you able to continue doing all the other things that come with being an author. And so with that, I'm going to share 5 easy ways to increase your book sales. So, oh, and let me introduce myself. I'm Ashley, the owner of Shep Publishing, and we help authors get from the page to the people with efficient and effective marketing strategies so they can sell more books, reach more readers, make more money, and change more lives. So, with this, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first easy way to sell more books is to really spend some time updating your book's information. And so, with this, that can look like maybe there are pages within your book that could just need some tweaking, or maybe you're adding additional components in the book to increase sales. And so, let me explain what that looks like, and I'll actually show you a visual of it as well. And so, in one of my books, the Daniel Fast 21 Day Food and Faith Journal, and then also another book that's a matching cookbook with that, Daniel Fast Meals, the 21 Day Cookbook to Feed Your Body and Spirit. When you think about, and so for reference, those two books came out at different times. So the devotional came out in 2020, and then the cookbook came out earlier this year, late last year. And so with that, it's something where, because the books are related, I wanted to make sure that I was including something that corresponded between the two. And so I'm going to show you an example of that. And so with that, that looks like, okay, if I have a book that's similar, or if you have a book that's similar to a previous book or a part of a series, then it's a really good idea to go back and actually update the pages within the book. So maybe that looks like saying, hey, go ahead and check out this thing, check out this matching option that is similar to what you already have. Or maybe it's, hey, oh, you didn't know that I had another book that's on the same topic. Okay, well, go ahead and check that out here, and then you can get the matching option with it. And so I'm going to show you what that looks like. So just for context, this is the interior of my cookbook. And so within the first section, I have a reference to resources that go with the book. And so let's say you released your book, but then maybe you wanted to add a book bonus page or a book bonus website. And so you can add that to your book and include a QR code for people to be able to access those things. This also works if you have a lead magnet or a reader magnet that you want people to get when they are reading your book. So that way they have an additional way to connect with you. And then towards the end of the book, I'm going to see if it'll let me skip to the end. I'll share that page that I was mentioning earlier. So, and drop a 1 in the chat if you can see this. I'm working with some software and I want to make sure you can see me. And so with this, well, not see me. You won't see me because I'm a little under the weather. So I'm off camera today, but not any reason why you can't still get these nuggets. So with this is what it looks like in the cookbook. So I've referenced a separate resource that's on the Bible app. And so this is a devotional that's there, and then a QR code to link there. But then also that matching devotional that I mentioned earlier, it's something where you can see that here and you're able to connect people that way. And so in the actual devotional, I went back and updated it to have a page that looks like this, but this part's just flip-flopped. So instead of saying, hey, go check out the journal, because it's in the journal, I said, hey, well, go ahead and check out the cookbook. And so this is an easy way to update your book's listings to be able to include additional items that are able to, how can I explain, that are able to kind of cross reference each other so that you're able to cross promote. So that's one option. Then let's go back. So I'm going to go back to my previous portion. Another thing to consider is your placement of things within the book. And so with both of those, I put those two updates, I put them in places that are pivotal to the reader. So it's something where, okay, on the first few pages of the book, they're going to be able to see that. It's in a very prominent place. Then in the back of the book, that's kind of the one of the last places they look as like a summary. And so you're also welcome to include those things throughout. So throughout the book, I have included QR codes to different things, but just something to be mindful of placement of those items and how that can help to increase sales. And so when you're thinking about doing this, you want to think about what kind of things you can include in your book, such as a lead magnet to bring people back onto your email list, especially if you're selling on Amazon, because you won't have that customer, Amazon KDP, because you won't have that customer data. And it's a way to be able to sell additional products or services to the reader, or just provide free items or community if you have a community that you want them to join. So for example, I have a Facebook group for the Daniel Fast, and I invite people who purchase the book or who go to my book bonus website to go ahead and join that community, because that's another way to serve them. Now, you do have to be mindful that you may have to adjust your spine depending upon how much you are changing. So if you're just adding to an existing page, that's not a problem because that page is already accounted for. However, if you're adding a lot of additional pages, then you may need to get that adjusted. At the same time, you want to be careful of that, because if you are making too many changes into the interior of the book, it can require that you have to get a new ISBN because it would be considered a different book. So adding small changes here or there are totally fine. Now, the second way that you can increase your book sales is to actually audit your own Amazon listing. And so I will include a link to a video where I go through the process of sharing what things are stopping you from selling books on Amazon. And so this is on my YouTube channel. And so when I do this, when I upload this fully, I'll add the link into that description. But it's a way to really take a look and see, okay, what am I doing that could be changed? What are some things that need to be adjusted? Is this really optimized for my reader? And so with that, being sure that you are taking a look at your Amazon listing and looking at similar listings, and I do a whole breakdown of that in the video I'm going to describe, or I'm going to include, as well as a separate video that I share about your book description. This is one of the most impactful parts of your Amazon listing, and actually if your book is only sold on your own site or in addition to your site, so if you sell on Etsy or your own website. Your description is something that basically makes or breaks whether or not someone's going to buy. Your cover reels them in, it attracts them. Then your description is something that helps to really pinpoint whether or not your book is a good option for that person. And I know often we hear, oh, well, people don't read. Okay, people don't read, but they do skim, and they are going to skim that description. And so if that description is not speaking directly to them, then it's going to be something where they are not going to be as attracted to put your book in the cart. So really taking a deep dive at that and looking to see what it is that you can improve and increase the chances of someone finding your book. And if you need more fine-tuned help with that, I do have that description video that I'm going to put in the link in the chat for you, as well as I have a class that does a deep dive of how to wake up to Amazon sales for your book. Now, the next way to to increase book sales is to update your book cover. And you might be thinking, okay, well, this is not really easy process. To some degree, it can be, and it might not be. If you're designing it yourself and you are not design inclined, meaning you do not have a design eye, or you don't know what to look for when it comes to design, then you probably shouldn't be designing your cover in the first place, and you should hire a professional. And so you could find someone off of Upwork, Fiverr, 99 Designs, or even speaking with others in author communities to see good choices for you. But updating your book cover is a relatively easy way to increase sales, because at the end of the day, or really at the beginning of the day, people judge a book by its cover. It's the first thing they see, and you have to think about if you are predominantly selling on a site like Amazon, then people are scrolling, and your cover's job is to get them to stop the scroll. It's to get them to stop in their tracks and say, okay, I want to click on that to get more information. Now, if you're selling in a bookstore or you're selling in a place such as a vending event or something like that, where somebody might have a physical copy of your cover in their hand or your physical book in their hand, then the job of your cover still stays the same, but it's something where it's even more important that your cover is eye-catching because you're trying to distract someone who is probably at an event where there's multiple people who might look like you or who might have a book that's similar to yours or a product that's similar to yours. Or if it's something where the products are not similar, your book is going to need to have to stand out even more. And so it's so important to have a cover that is eye-catching, that it's really easy to understand what the book is about from the cover. And that's something that often authors don't quite understand or don't quite get the concept in terms of what that looks like for the reader. And so it's very important to make sure that's clear. And so having your cover redesigned is a way to be able to do that. And with that, for example, if you have created your cover before, you might want to consider getting it professionally done and investing in it, because I tell my followers and subscribers and things of that sort that honestly, your entirety of your book is the inside and the outside. And I know that sounds weird, but the inside of your book, like the editing, if it's not well done, if it's not well edited, and of course formatting as well, but if it's not edited well and it's hard to read, then that's going to be what is the bulk of your review that people are leaving. Or if it is, the cover is not something that even makes people pick up the book, then you're not going to get the sales that you want to see. And so really spending the energy finding a right cover designer, and also spending the time surveying your audience, asking them their preferences, letting them be a part of the process and saying, okay, which cover do you like better, is key, because it's something where if you are not doing that and you kind of are creating in a silo, you're creating in your own little bubble, then it can be very difficult for you to be able to get those book sales because people aren't even going to pick up your book. And so if you need support with that, then I am hosting a class inside of my Black Friday, Cyber Monday book marketing masterclass bundle, and it will be discussing how to know what to put on your cover, not to design it. We're not going to be designing it, but knowing what to include in your cover, placements, things to include, things to advise a cover designer to include, and things of that sort, so that you can get the coins that you deserve. And so it's called Cover Coins, covers that convert to sales, what to include on your cover to increase book sales. And so the link for that is in the description of this video, but I will add that in the chat as well. Next, so the fourth thing that you are going to want to do to increase your book sales is to take a hard look at your data and stats. Now, I know that this might be something that is a little bit of a come to Jesus meeting with yourself, or a time of self-reflection, and that can be a little challenging. That can be hard, but it's something that's really worthwhile doing, or worthwhile to do. And I say that because if you don't know where you've been and you don't know what it is that's really moving the needle or pushing your sales, then it's going to be very hard for you to make data-driven decisions. Back when I was in the classroom, that was so important in terms of helping my students and moving the school forward as a literacy coach as well, to be able to assess what's going on and then to make changes based upon those assessments. And so if you are just doing things and you're just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, and you're never going back to look at that data to see exactly what's happening, then it's going to be something that you are concentrating an effort on something that you're not even sure if it's working. And so yes, try all the things, but reassess and reevaluate if all those things are working. When you're first starting out, I know it can be difficult to know what works, especially if you're trying to go the solo route. And so spending the time to invest in someone that can help you, or getting in a community of people who know what they're doing and who are getting results, is key. And so really looking at your data to assess your best months, your worst months, to see what things are driving data. So for example, recently I saw an author that mentioned using TikTok, and they said they posted 3 times a day for 30 days. And then they saw, okay, well, this actually did work. And so for them, for their genre, it was something that worked. That might not be the best strategy for you. You have to test it and see what makes the most sense. And then you have to look at the data at the end. I know we get so excited about, or maybe not excited, because I know most authors don't love marketing, but it's a necessary part of the process. We can get caught up in like all the shiny things and doing all the things without really even looking at what exactly is the thing that's working. And so think about back on what promotions you've had, think back on the things that you've offered to your audience and the wording that you've used, and see what actually resulted in sales. Then number 5, our final example to increase book sales. And for this one, it is one that I know this can be the bane of authors' existence, is to increase your reviews. But I'm going to give you one specific way to increase it that is more likely to work than other ways. And so this is to ask people who have previously commented or sent you a DM or sent you a text message, somebody who's previously commented that your book helped them or that you liked or that they liked your book, asking them to leave a review and giving them the direct review link. So instead of just saying leave a review for my book on Amazon, giving them a direct review link for your book. And if you don't know what that is, I have a video on that on my YouTube. It's the process of showing them, okay, when you give them the link, it automatically sends them to the review page for your book, as opposed to sending them all over Amazon. And so wording you can use for that is thank you so much, or remember when you sent me this text message, and literally copy and paste the text message from that person. Say, it would mean the world to me if you would go ahead and leave a review, please. Thanks so much. You can copy and paste the same thing. Here's what you said before. Boom. And it's something where it makes it an easy option for them. It's a no-brainer for them. And it's an easy win for you, because if this person took time out of their day to send you a message saying how much they loved your book, then they're going to be more likely to want to leave you a review. And they may just have forgotten. And so you will have to check up with them just to make sure it posted. So that's a very quick and easy way to include to encourage additional reviews. And then when they do that, thank them for it. And so grab a screenshot from Amazon, tag them if you happen to know them on social, and say thank you so much to blah 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 for leaving this wonderful review. And by the way, if you haven't left a review, here's the link to do so. And so that way you're continuing the process with other people who might have forgotten to leave a review, or who are just maybe not aware that you need reviews. And so it's an easy way to connect them. Then this is a bonus tip, and I didn't put it in the main list because people might not think that this is easy, because it does depend on the format. But checking your inventory of your books, and I'm going to explain this 2 ways. So checking your inventory, if you have books that are in your home or in storage or somewhere, actually inventorying and see how many books you have left. So for example, I did this recently for my Daniel Fast cookbook, and I saw, okay, I only have 5 spiral versions of the book left in my house. I do have some with my distributor, who is the one that supplies the books to my Amazon listing for that through Amazon Advantage. And so she ships those, but in my possession, I only have 5 books. And so that's something I can use to say, hey, do you know anybody who would like a faith-based vegan cookbook? I have 5 copies left available in spiral. Let me know. That's a quick and easy way to promote it and ask people in targeted places, of course, if they'd like to grab those last few. I do have other versions, so I have the paperback and the hardcover, but I noticed that my spiral was running low. Then looking at doing that in a way that is digital. So for example, if you provide any additional items with your books, or even physical items, so if you provide like swag or stickers or whatever, inventorying those things and seeing what you have, because then it helps you to make data-driven decisions for the future. And so for example, a customer mentioned to me that one of the links for an item that she purchased, which is helping authors to create pre-orders and bundles for their books, it's a pre-order and bundle guide, that the link wasn't working when she first got it. And so I went back and looked, and I said, okay, well, let me go check this. And so I sent her the new link, and then went back and updated it on future purchasers. And so that's a way to just increase customer service to make sure stuff is working properly, but really assessing and seeing what all is going on in your tech, and make sure the tech is teching, because sometimes the tech don't be teching. And then that way you're able to make sure that people are able to trust you and that you're holding up good customer service. And so another option with inventorying your books is to really assess and see, okay, did I do all of the book formats that make sense for this book? And when I say that, I mean, so for example, the ebook version, the hardcover, the paperback, if you're doing spiral or offset printing or something like that, the special edition. For my cookbook, I have premium paperback, I have premium hardcover, and then spiral. And so, in the ebook version. But I was working with a client a couple years ago, and she didn't realize she didn't put her ebook version on Amazon, but she already had her paperback and hardcover versions. And I said this option is easy, because essentially all she had to do was get her book reformatted to be the ebook version. And then she was able to increase that stream of revenue by including another format. So that's something where it's like, okay, well, making sure that you've chosen the right formats for your book that makes sense for you, and opening up to different options. This could also look like adding the audio version. I know that's not an easy process. However, just throwing that out there because it is the fastest growing format. And so finding people over on Narrators List or ACX to be your readers are great options as well. And then lastly, with the ebook version, let's say you want to consider putting it on your website versus just Kindle Unlimited, then just of course be mindful that you are not able to have it in two places. So one or the other if you're a part of the Kindle Unlimited program. So if this has been helpful for you, definitely let me know in the comments and share with someone who is needing to increase their book sales. And if you're needing some more guidance on this, I am hosting a series of masterclasses. You can scan the link that's here on the screen, and I'll put the link to them in the chat. And that is to help you to sell more books. And so the topics are choosing the right book title, how to pick the best nonfiction book title to increase book sales and build brand recognition. And so we'll talk through the process of how to pick the right title and how to attract your audience. Then for the second class, it's Fix My Amazon, and we'll actually audit your Amazon together, meaning we'll walk through the process together of what to fix and what to change to increase book sales. And then the third class will be about building a buzz with book launch basics. And so that is to help you with your book launch process to build a buzz around your book so people actually buy. And then the last class is called Cover Coins, so covers that convert to sales. And that includes what to include on your cover to increase book sales. And so thank you so much for tuning in. As I mentioned before, I'm Ashley. And if you need anything else, drop it in the comments. And I'd love to hear about folks who are increasing their book sales and just really rocking it out with marketing. So if that's you, then definitely let me know what you are working with. Or if you need support in that area, then we do offer done for you services as well as coaching options for you too. Have a good one.